Hello and welcome to another episode of The Sacred Rainbow Warrior. Today I'm going to be continuing the topic of censorship. So if you haven't watched my previous video, I suggest you do because the topic of censorship is huge. So I have been trying to reclaim my voice, and if you look at my old videos, I'm quite solemn and really being quite quiet. And this is because I've been afraid to express who I am. And this comes from the cutoff of sexuality through the voice. It comes through suppression of the voice through bullying and violence and damnation. And today I'm talking about damnation, the damnation of God, how love is demonized and how it's censored. Now, this is a really interesting topic that I found through my medicine journey through animal wisdom. I learned how to speak and communicate through feeling and through channeling the wisdom of animals. And I learned to understand that higher meaning for the light or darken light or deepen light, as I like to call them, for each animal. So there's a light gift, which is the pure gift. There's a light distortion, which is a distorted gift of hiding in the light. And there's the same for the deep and the dark. Now, damnation is actually a distortion of the crocodile. And it's to do with the path of light, because the crocodile is actually a divine guide through the power of integration through the body. Now, if we use the solar plexus as an example, which is gold, the pathway, the compass of the body, the chakra that helps guide us, we can understand the censorship of love through damnation. Now, damnation is a spell word. Have you noticed how people use, they go, oh, damn, or oh, God damn it? That's damnation. But another form of damnation is, which I've been through and I've had to purify through my journey, is blaming God, blaming spirit, blaming life, blaming anything that's outside of you is a form of damnation. And what it is it's a blockage to movement, integration, and direction. And it causes you to become lost. It causes you to become depressed, apathetic, sorry, uh, apathy, any dark emotion that stops you from moving and you just want to die. Like when a crocodile grabs its carcass, it rolls around. But if it rolls around for far too long, it turns the water muddy and then it can't move and the carcass becomes rotten. And this is a bit like our body when we become stagnant and we stop moving, the energy can't move through. And the what I've learned from my journey is that integration is about the death of the ego, and that comes in multiple forms and multiple ways. And the best way, one of the best ways of moving that energy through your body is through movement. And also another way is through sharing, so sharing your voice. And to me personally, I find that the most powerful form of moving the energy through is through the voice. But if it gets stuck here, then it can't connect to the heart. And so we end up speaking from a place of fear. And damnation is the mistranslation, misunderstanding of fear. So at the moment, we're going through a huge upheaval through this upcoming event, this Ascension event, where I've spoken in a previous episode about how people will be misguided by themselves or by the dark through the damnation of light. I've seen a lot of comments online of people talking about a flash of light in the sky and Project Bluebeam as distractions, rabbit holes of distraction, which curse the light and prevent people from actually receiving love and the light. And there's always a distraction because there's always the opposite mirror of light that's coming in. And through the event that's coming in, it's already started. The amount of love that's coming in from below and from outside, and I've experienced this myself, is I thought it was a psychic attack, but it's actually love. Because if you're really strong enough and you really understand through the purity and wisdom of your own soul, everything is love. So when a form of fear comes in, it's a distortion that you're creating through your third eye to demonize and censor love from receiving love. And that's all triggered through shame. And I spoke about this previously, and I will continue to speak about how narcissism is the root of all shame because it's toxic shame avoidance, and everything that is distorted, any dark emotion or negative emotion stems from avoiding shame. And when this all stems from a really ancient war, which a lot of people talk about online, but again, a lot of people are misguided by the truth. Is the war was about, and I mentioned in the previous episode about the Antichrist, and the Antichrist is the hatred of humanity. It's the hatred of our own humanity, and this comes through the form of dogma, and it's disguised through religion, but it's not nothing to do with religion really. It's just the hatred of God through, believe it or not, it's through the hatred of being created, so existing. It's like screaming at God for being created. That's the Antichrist. And it's like a virus that feeds off humanity, and it's coming to an end. That's why there's going to be such an upheaval in the collective in the next well, this year, and I'm not sure how long that's going to continue. Originally, I was told by my guys that between 2025 and 2027 is when the biggest changes will take place. But because of the positive changes and choices that people are making in the collective, it's having a greater effect, which means hopefully it will speed up the process of suffering so that we don't have to suffer as long and we will come through it greater. And this what I'm talking about with this what I'm talking about with regards to damnation is a process of allowing that love that's coming in, the cosmic love, but also the love from underneath. And if you're one of those people that has starseed in your search, then you need to start feeling downwards, feeling that energy for coming upwards, because actually your seed is here. You're an earth seed. If we keep continuing to look outside saying, oh yeah, I'm an Arcturian, I'm a Pleiadian, I'm a Lyran, you're actually all of that, but it's more important to be here. And the reason we continue to look up is because of the cutoff from the Earth Star chakra. And it's through my understanding of the masculine and feminine energies, because I work with my partner in divine union through the spiritual energy of understanding where we came from and why we ended up in this way. It's through the exposure in of me sitting in front of a woman and vice versa. I understood that man has destroyed his reputation by hiding in the dark of the mother. So that's the mother wound. And the feminine has destroyed her image by hiding in the light, the father wound, the father and, the God and the goddess, as above, so below. And that's where the cleansing happens, but it doesn't happen up here and down here. It happens in all of the shades, and then we meet in the heart. And this is the antidote to separation, the original sin, which I also spoke about in the previous episode. One of the main ways that love is censored and damned is through free speech. So when I'm speaking about the mistranslation of love, it's so big that it mirrors your own power. And because we've subdued it for so long, suppressed it for so long, because depression is the opposite of expression, and speaking the voice is one of the greatest forms of expression. because we've done that for so long, we've forgotten our power. And when we feel it, it's so much love that it terrifies us. That's why the ascension has to it happens in small stages. I've been going through the ascension process since 2020, the end of 2020, just before COVID and everything. And I went inside deeply every day with my partner for 4 years, and the coming out is actually a difficult process because going in is actually, depending on how you look at it, I find it quite enjoyable to face the truth and face my fears, but a lot of people tend to avoid them, hence why we have a society based on narcissistic avoidance. But the what happens when the more love that you embody, the more you're able to feel yourself. And when you can feel yourself and embrace life and telling it instead of blaming life, you can start to receive the cosmic love and the earthly love. And it's funny how it works because it's always mirrored. Men are naturally more comfortable in the higher realms, and the opposite is true for the women. They're more comfortable in the deeper realms of sensuality. So it's like the body of sensuality, feeling and intuition for the women, and for the men it's more about thinking and logic and a higher consciousness, stuff like that, like cosmos and extraterrestrials. And if it's the other way around, that's because there's a distortion with the mother wound or the father wound. And so because it reverses, because it always oscillates and mirrors, um, women find it easier to um, receive energy from the earth, and vice versa for men. But what's happening in this ascension process is what was I was what was it? Oh, I lost my train of thought. I'm gonna have to continue with something else, so I'll come back to that. So the the way men think about love is exactly what I just said. They think about love, whereas it has to be felt, right? Because love, as I said before in a previous episode, love can't be grasped through logic because it's limitless and multi-dimensional, and so is a feminine, and that's why men try to control women because it's logical, and logical is a form of control. Trying to understand the feminine is ridiculous because they're multi-dimensional, ever-growing, and limitless. They're forever changing, just like art. When you look at a piece of art, you don't try to logicize it and put a label on it. That's folly. It's you have to find your own understanding, your own feeling of what that art means to you. And it's the same with the feminine. And the the joy and love that's coming in is so large and multi-dimensional and big that it mirrors ourselves. And in partnership, if you are with the opposite sex, it mirrors that through each other as well, because love is what is bringing us together. And the only way to find true ascension to the highest level is in divine union with the opposite sex, because you cannot receive all the codes of divine union on your own. Because when you meet your twin flame, as I have done, you when you meet up and you finally find each other, which is incredible, by the way, um, you realize that you have been holding coded parts of each other's soul in order to keep them safe. And when you come into divine union, you can exchange those pieces and give them back to make each other complete again. But it can only happen through the process of purification, and that is absolutely wild. It's incredible. And it's through the process of soul retrieval, which I'm also going to add into this section of censorship, soul retrieval, how we retrieve parts of our soul which we have sold or which have been stolen or we've given away. And this ascension process is essentially giving us back that which has been stolen for humanity, the heart of humanity. Our will was stolen. our power of will, because it is a powerful force that not every race in the universe has access to, the will to create, the free will. And that goes all the way back to the Garden of Eden. And it's not about Adam and Eve. That's garbage. That's garbage. It's actually about Pan and Lilith and how they were damned and demonized. If you look at Pan, he's a faun, right? He's body of a goat and he's got horns, a bit like the goat. And if you look in the tarot, the goat is called the devil, right? And what's devil backwards? It's lived. And it's a spell about how they killed Pan, they destroyed Pan, the true nature of man, the true compassionate, kind nature of man. And that came through a external attack. It didn't originate from here, and that's why this war that's been going on for thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years, predates any historical records that we have of the origins of what happened. And the reason we don't remember is because everything was destroyed and so many of us were annihilated, including our ancestors, that they haven't been able to reincarnate due to the forget what they call it. There's a special thing they call it, the where they collect souls every 25,000 years or something. I can't remember. And this is how they destroy us. They continually destroy our heritage so that we forget. And but we can't forget because the wisdom is locked in our DNA. And when we go through a purification, we unlock that. And for me personally, I found the best way of doing that was working in divine union with my partner using plant medicine. And I don't mean going abroad. I mean working with your own plant medicine. Um, in your own country, the stuff that grows out of the ground, which we're told is poisonous, another form of censorship. Now, um, Pan and Lilith are the true nature of the feminine and masculine, and they've been demonized. You know, Lilith has been demonized as a she-devil, as a whore, and Pan demonized as the devil and of manipulation. And if you look at the goat, again, I was speaking about this at the beginning, the power of the animal wisdom. The goat, in its higher wisdom, is linked to the god of ecstasy, Dionysus. That's it, yeah. And um, I've got it written down here. Where is it? Yeah. So the gift of the goat is divine ecstasy or divine fun, right? So that's the energy of Pan. And the deep gift is catharsis, which is purification, right? But the dark side, the distortions of the goat are addiction and manipulation. So Dionysus was the god of wine, and we became addicted to alcohol, which is actually in medicine. And if you drink too much of it and become drunk, you become open to entities because you're abusing medicine. It's the same with any medicine. If you abuse it, it pokes holes in you. That's the punishment. And those holes create entrances for entities. And the other one is manipulation. And that's why it's been demonized because and devilized, the manipulation of mankind. Now, that's not the only form of manipulation. It's not the only animal used. There are other animals used as well, like the dragon. But the the way that this has been cleverly orchestrated over, like I said, hundreds of thousands of years is disgusting. And it's coming to an end because love is bringing us together. That is what brings us together. But if there are lies between us, between men and women, between you and love, then there is a a division, a division of joy, where love tears you apart in a bad way. Sorry, not love, but fear tears you apart. But if you come into joy, so the like I said, divine fun, the goat, then you come into the joy of division, where love will tear you apart in a good way, because love is the savior. of mankind. When love tears us apart, it's opening our heart to higher realms of consciousness, destroying the ego. And remember, as I said in the previous two episodes, you are your own savior, not Jesus, not God. It's not anything outside of you because it's all inside your heart. Now, damnation, I'm just going to finish on damnation. Stop saying the word damn. That's the best beginning you can make. These are spell words when we say damn. And damnation also resides back comes back to links back to Greek mythology with hell and the gates of Tartarus and the river Styx. When we become damned, we go into the darkness of hell. And there's two types of hell. There's the false hell of the Matrix and the how do I say the bodily hell that we created ourselves. And both of them are there. Well, I'll talk about the real one. When I say real, I don't mean it actually exists. I mean the um the emotional hell. It's basically a place where we can find redemption, but all it is like a stagnation of shame. And damnation is not is basically not allowing light in. Like I put a picture on the video thumbnail of a dam cracking, right? Now, the dam cracking is essentially grief. Now, there's so much grief. I've cried a river over the past 5 years. I call myself the crying Freeman because every time I cry, I feel joy and I freeze my open my heart. And the um the dams that are in the body also are outside. So you look at the dams in nature, the man-made ones, these dry up the land. They dry up the land and they kill the surrounding area because the nutrients gone, all the plants die and the nature disappears. This is the same of how it happens in the body. If we damn ourselves by um, not confessing our shame, not speaking our shame in a safe place, or not how do I say realizing that the shame is an illusion that is used to censor ourselves, censor our voice, and speaking words of love and words of wisdom. Let it be, let it be. It's really shutting down your heart, and it's shutting down your direction. It's shutting down your integration and your pathway to ascension. And anything that shuts down your integration means you stop. And if you stop moving, that is disastrous. It's it's a life or death situation. If you become stagnant or stuck in the mud, or what's the one I like to use? Um, what is it? Oh, I can't remember. Anyway, the if we get stuck in our own lack of movement. That's it. It's grandiosity. I was thinking of grandiosity, right? So grandiosity appears, and grandiosity is when we start to tell people what to do because we feel we know better. And it's essentially a form of laziness at a really deep level. It's a form of laziness because we learn a lot during life, but sometimes when we come to that door that we don't want to open because there's so much love in there, but we confuse it for shame, it causes us to stop. And anyone that comes close to the door, we go, "Oh yeah, yeah, it's this, and this," and it becomes a form of judgment and narcissistic grandiosity that comes from the insecurity of feeling small. And the only reason we feel small and insecure is because we don't come face to face with who we truly are, because we are really big. The soul is infinite, we are huge, and our love is limitless. And when we come face to face with that, we either embrace it and we become big and we become love, or we cower away and we become small and fearful. So turn towards love. Don't turn a blind eye to love anymore. face the shame. It is difficult, but there are many, many different ways forward. And I will continue to speak about this. And I'm writing a book about the art of integration, which hopefully will get published later this year. But there is so much wisdom that can come through the voice if only we speak from the heart. So thank you for listening. I welcome any comments. And if you wish me to discuss anything about anything, any spiritual, anything to do with separation, ascension, coding, decoding, you name it, please message me. Thank you. Bye bye.